this for YouTube, and it's absolutely terrible. It just goes live, doesn't stop, or it doesn't do the things that it used to do. So, and also horizontal, it doesn't go horizontal. So, and now it's just doing absolutely weird stuff. So let me just turn this up. Terrible operating system on the iPhone for this is absolutely terrible. It goes horizontal when it looks like it's going vertical, and absolutely atrocious. And to photograph myself to get back in, it's absolutely shockingly bad. My God, From one, I don't understand. Oh, that's the volume there. I don't understand how bad their operating system has got. Also, not to mention, I'll come on to that in a minute, but let me, in fact, I might actually, I'll just leave it this way. Not to mention the fact that what's actually happened when I've been at the conferences and things like that. I'll talk about that in a minute, and the interference of this. I'm not sure if it's, I'm not sure who's interfering. I'll talk about that in a minute. So, I thought I would talk about my fellow YouTubers, who, by all accounts, are good YouTubers. I did the last video, and I said Keir Starmer had put out an introduction to it. It totally disappeared, and then it went on straight away while I was trying to set things up. So it doesn't actually work. The whole system on YouTube, it was better before, and now it's got worse for trying to set the thing up and trying to put the things in the right, and then to horizontal to vertical. They've just screwed it right up. I would always have it on the same way, so my settings should always be set unless I actually actively change them. That would be a much better way of doing it, YouTube. So my settings would be set. And also I'm getting interfered with whether externally from here, whether the signal or anything else. So let's get on to the main topic at hand. So two good, solid YouTubers have joined the SDP. So why don't you just join the SDP, David? Well, for the same reason, well, not for the same reason, for a different reason, but similar reasons why I wouldn't join the Liberal Party. I'm not talking about the Liberal Democrats. Both the SDP and the Liberal Party merged to form the illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrat Party. And nothing liberal or democratic about the Liberal Democrats. An absolute progressive liberals. I've never heard the like. Actually identitarian communist policies from the doughballs and the Liberal Democrats. Just another cheek of the same asshole from the Labour and the SNP. However, having said that, one of my best interviews, now I've done 6 interviews with 6 of the leaders for the last Scottish elections. And other ones won't talk to me. They will have to talk to me soon, but they don't want to talk to me because they know that, well, I'll destroy them politically. So they are now I've talked to 6 of them, and the one that was possibly closest to me was the Liberal Party, the guy from the Liberal Party, really a nice fella, who was the secretary up here. But after the situation with Dick Johnston, I think it was, who dressed up, which I thought was quite a good stunt, which really summed up Humza. If you don't remember, Dick Johnston was taking the piss out of Humza for being a Nazi. And we've actually seen for his hate speech bills to his other illiberal things that have been brought through the SNP, Humza is completely illiberal. So Deek was actually correct in his portrayal, but he gets kicked out of the Liberal Party, which is why I wouldn't join the Liberals, because they obviously don't believe in free speech or even satire. So if you and obviously the Liberal Party, the Liberals and the SDP were the two formative parties to form the illiberal, liberal, undemocratic Democrats. So, but still, I'm what they call a classical liberal, or I would call it a libertarian liberal at heart. So, but the SDP and the Liberals are similar. So I would say the actual Liberals are slightly to the right of the Social Democrats, the right wing of the Labour Party. So these two gentlemen, and very good YouTubers, very knowledgeable. I wouldn't have any problems working with them on certain issues. But as all Labour, and I'm using the SDP in the Labour sense because we are part of the Labour collective. As part of the Labour collective, economically illiterate, probably less so than the people in the Conservative Party. Sorry, the people in the Conservative Party, they're just corporatists. The people in the Labour Party, they were slightly better. But the Liberal, so I'm going to use Liberal Democrat, Liberal and Social Democrat, right? That's going to be the three, because we're going to get confused here, wondering what the hell I'm talking about. The SDP that broke off of the Labour Party, the right wing of the Labour Party, and joined with the Liberals. Both of these were globalist shill parties. So even today, the Liberals still believe in rejoining. Dick Jackson, yeah, that's him, mate. Dick Jackson correctly portrayed Humza as a fascist. So he would be welcome, if he was actually a Liberal, he'd be welcome in my new party. So the SDP were globalist shills. These days I identify as politically confused. So I'm trying to explain it to you, and I'm trying to give you political history here so that you're not politically confused. The SDP and the Liberals broke off and formed the Liberal Democrats, but retained both parties. So neither the SDP or it's Godobin, it's not Edinburgh, it's Godobin. The SDP and the Liberals joined together, and the Liberal Democrats are a progressive globalist shill party, undemocratic, anti-liberal, but they have joined together and got this abomination of a party. It's illiberal and undemocratic. The SDP and the Liberal Party are still going as two political entities. They didn't disband them. So we've still got Liberals, a Liberal Party throughout the UK, and an SDP party throughout the UK. So Craig Houston has now joined with David Coulter, the Silver Fox. So both of these are both saying they're centre-left politicians who were getting called Nazis. Craig Houston was getting called a Nazi and a racist and all other stuff at the protest for limited immigration in Glasgow. Dylan, what's that? I don't know what that is, mate. Sounds like vodka. So both of them are now joined the SDP. Every First Minister in here, probably with the exception of Nippy, and even Nippy was compromised because of the Greens, so maybe even Nippy, but certainly every First Minister has been a Social Democrat of some ilk. I would say Humza, probably because he's an Islamist, and Nippy because she was getting into the what they call progressive, identitarian, far-left, neo-Marxist politics. They weren't a tribe who once inhabited Lothian. All right, I see. That's why it's in Italian. I thought they were certainly Brythonic. I think it was called Godobin. The place was called Godobin. So, the SDP are now actually sound. So the SDP are almost like libertarians, and are also libertarian, and are also anti-globalists. But the Liberal Party, who are quite sound as well, are almost libertarian and they believe in freedom of speech, but they also are not that libertarian. They wouldn't kick Dick Jackson out for being satirically taking the piss out of Hamas useless, the Islamo-fascist. So they're obviously the Liberals, which is why I didn't join the Liberal Party, which would have been probably my natural home, which is why I'm going to set up another party and not join the SDP, because like all left-wing Liberals or right-wing socialists, whoever you choose, they still are economically illiterate. And the fact is that we've now got a situation where they want to be unionists, and sometimes I don't know if they want to get rid of in here, but the problem is not here. The problem is the people that inhabit here. The problem is left-wing politics, and they're not changing it. So Craig Houston, I know because I spoke to him, was wanting people to tactically vote for the Labour Party. You shouldn't never vote for the Labour Party. You shouldn't vote for any of the parties. Even though the SD, the current iteration of the Social Democratic Party, are anti-EU, because a lot of them were ex-UKIP, and also pro-libertarian, which means they believe in freedom of speech, which is sound, and I could definitely work with them because I'm in between the Social Democrats and the minarchists in the Libertarian Party. There will definitely be crossovers that we can work with there. So I wouldn't say don't vote for them. While the Liberal Party should be the party that I join, but it's not going to be because they are still shills for the EU, just like the Liberal Democrats. So there's no choice there in joining a Liberal Party that's non-aligned with the undemocratic European Union, and thereby part of the globalist agenda. So I wouldn't be joining the Liberal Party either. So I'm not joining the SDP, but I'm in that area. So unless you get firmed up, and I'm not going to be joining Reform UK, because both David and Craig said they weren't going to join Reform either. But I'm not doing it for other reasons. But we haven't had, other than a Social Democrat, even though Nippy veered back to the identitarian left, and Humza is just a Muslim shill, the first embarrassment is a Muslim shill that we've had in here. The SDP are still going to be as Social Democrats are still going to be pretty much economically incompetent. I don't know, because both David and Craig are both standing on their unionism. I want more powers to go in here. I don't. The problem in here is left-wing politics. The problem is not this place itself. I don't want to be governed by Westminster. When I had dyslexia, I changed the politics in here. I wouldn't have changed it down at Westminster. In fact, I would have said that the people in Westminster were a bit rude and weren't listening. So I'm not really interested in their unionism. In fact, in our new political party, we will get a referendum, an increasing power. So we'll have a Devo Max referendum, which they cannot overturn. Well, they will not be able to refuse, in which we will be able to win because of the Devo Max, because Devo Max is in between outright independence, and it will progress more powers to this Parliament than have done for 14 years of the SNP. So the SNP have been particularly useless. So we will get a political party that will have a Devo Max referendum. So we'll get more powers in here, more powers to control our own economy. Maybe even collect in our own taxation and VAT, and that'll be done here. There'll be various things that we'll demand in a Devo Max, and Westminster can't say no. They can say no because we've had an independence referendum. They couldn't say no if we became a majority to actually have a Devo Max referendum. And they'll just have to, if we get more votes, they'll just have to suck it up. And that's where I think David and Craig and I would differ. and that's where we would sphere away from each other politically. And I think I would get more votes because we know now that the SNP haven't got one jot closer to Scottish independence. They haven't got one power more, and even though they were getting the majority seats, the majority of people, they haven't got us any closer to Scottish independence. So they're a total busted flush, a wasted vote. Just as Labour, the granny killers, are going to be a wasted vote. If Keir Starmer goes, which I was speaking about in the last podcast, if Keir Starmer goes, then they're going to get some other absolute retard in. It's like the special needs bus that's in the Labour Party in Westminster. So, yeah. That's the situation there. SNP ended ended with less powers for Scotland. Exactly. There'll be for somebody whose raison d'etre is Scottish independence. They haven't done anything in the last 14 years, or not. I would say since Alex Salmond went. So over the last 10 years, they've done nothing. So there's been an absolute farce, an absolute embarrassment. If you're wanting Scottish independence, even if you want more powers to Scotland. You wouldn't be voting for them. So we will be going with a Devo Max and reducing Scottish taxation. So I don't think the SDP want to do it. They're a bigger state type of people. Although, as I said, the current reiteration is quite liberal. I'm still not sure if they're a big state organisation or not. If they want more state, we want to reduce the size of the state and increase the size of the growth in private sector in Scotland. That's what we want to do, and we'll reduce people's taxations because of it. Now, I haven't read the Social Democrats manifesto, Social Democratic Party's manifesto, and I haven't got to grips with it. I'll go over it closer at the time. It might not be that far off, because if the Greens take down the SNP government for their own political ends, then it's only going to be next year. We'll get a Scottish election. There'll possibly be similar times with the English council elections. And I don't think the UK Reformer want to abolish Holyrood, and I don't think that's the answer either. So I'm not sure that the SDP are the answer. I'm not sure that Reform are the answer for Scotland I'm talking about, and I'm not sure if the Liberals are the answer. Certainly not the Liberal Democrats. So we need another alternative in Parliament for Scotland to change its political dynamic. I don't foresee that the SDP, even if they're sound in the fact that they're not anti-globalist or pro-freedom of speech, even if they're sound on those two issues, the issues of the Scottish economy being too overtly pro-union, to the extent that they might want to abolish this Parliament. There's already been calls in the Reform UK to abolish this Parliament. That's not going to be sound for the Scottish economy or for Scotland to be an independent political or increase the political powers for Scotland or economic powers for Scotland. So this is the situation we've got. This is not something that we want to increase or decrease. We don't want to decrease the amount of powers in Scotland. We do want to decrease the number of left-wing politicians. And Craig and David have just joined another centre-left political entity, which is exactly what Scotland wants to get away from: social democratic policies that have held Scotland back for generations. Now, I would say that Craig and David are probably going to be more sound than other social democrats, but believe me, it's just another branch of social democracy. They might be sounder on certain issues like freedom of speech and other things, but they're still social democrats. And the Labour up here has been run by and the SNP have all been run by social democrats. So there's not been a change. There hasn't been a change in policy, or there's only been a change in personnel, not a change in policy for decades. And all that Craig Houston and David Coulter have done is joined another social democrat, another left-wing social democratic party, just like it's that has been governing Scotland for the last since it opened, basically. So just more social democracy policy, although they're sound on certain issues. So, I mean, I don't know what to say. It's beyond bonkers. I think we need to move slightly further to the right. But the fact is, even I'm saying right, people are saying, oh, far right, right wing. I'm talking about centrists. Apparently me as a libertarian liberal, a centrist libertarian, or a centrist politician is now described as the far right. So I would hate to see where the centre of the political juxtaposition is, and I would hate to see where the actual far left was. I mean, the far left must be in power. People are not understanding. People are talking about social democracy, social justice, and not realising that's a communist term. That Kamala Harris is a communist. That Keir Starmer is a communist. So these people are communists. They're not actual centrists. And the fact that people don't know the difference, that these people are the extreme left, means that you don't really understand the politics. And they can describe everything as far right as if that's a catch-all that you've got to take as a total blanket. Oh no, the far right. If you're a communist, everything's far right. But it's the communists that have murdered 100 million people. And these are the same scum that are wanting open borders, the same scum that want to follow Baldy, Dr. Evil and Davos and the corporatists, globalists. This is the same people. Kamala Harris bringing in 19 million people getting murdered, kicked out, people dying in Colorado, and there was been allegations this has been deliberate weather tampering as well. And these people, and then there's other people gloating about it, like black racists gloating about this is God punishing people and things like that. How disgusting. And white people, it's not just black people, it's white people as well are saying these sort of things. How disgusting. So, I think we've got big problems. I don't think joining the SDP might be the answer. Might be better because if you watch the Silver Fox like I do, and Craig, they're very sound on a lot of issues, they're very knowledgeable, don't disagree with them on a lot of underlying issues. I'm not that far away from them, slightly to the right, because I probably understand economics a wee bit better with my background. And that's another thing about politicians. We all bring massive solar flares, more likely caused wild weather. Well, good. I wouldn't disagree, could be. It was just somebody put it up on YouTube. These are allegations about weather tampering. But I think I don't know whether the Social Democrats are going to be the issue. I certainly wouldn't be against them getting into Parliament because I know that a lot of the Social Democrats are sound, and a lot of the Social Democrats are good guys. Some of them are ex-UKIP, and they're not pro the globalists, and they're not. A lot of them are freedom of speech, and but I'm not sure where they stand in the unions things. More power. Don't know where they stand on reducing taxation in here, which we could do, which we'll be planning on doing. Reducing spending, reducing taxation, because the SNP are pissing up against the wall. So we'll be empowering the individual, not the state. And that's something that I don't know if they're ideologically sound. And when I mean that, I mean ideologically motivated. They might just be going through the motions, but obviously I know a lot about politics theory as well as economics, which is really my fortes. Each person brings what they're a specialist in. So Dave's an accountant, so he would bring accountancy specialisation. Not quite sure what Craig's background is. Oh, Craig's with the government cut billions from NGOs. Yeah, they'll be going. That'll be the first thing to be getting axed. So, yeah, quite looking forward. So I probably will not be in the same political party as them. I wish them both well. I'd like to see them both elected. If Craig's if Craig's standing in the West, and it'll be the second vote that's most important for them in the West, and David standing in the West, I don't know who'll be standing first and second on the list, which is going to be the most important thing for them. Might have been better for them not to both stand in the west of Scotland on the actual second vote list, but because it'll be quite difficult. I don't know if they'll get enough votes to get over the threshold, although both of them have got quite large followings. How large they're going to be in the west of Scotland, God only knows. So, good luck to them. I will get them on, we'll get them speaking directly on this. We'll try and get the leader of the Scottish Social Democrats. I think that's Craig. I think Craig's announced that he was going to be the leader of the Social Democrats, so we'll get him on and find out about his manifesto. These are 3-hour interviews, Craig, so we dive right into policy and things like that as well. So it's not a gotcha interview. I'm quite happy to tell you what we're going to be asking you, so you're pre-prepared, but it is a long form interview so that we actually find out where people are in the political spectrum and find out what the situation is for them if they were to be elected. I would probably, if I wasn't going to vote for myself, I would probably vote for the guys as well. They'll certainly be better than a lot of the people in here. Certainly a lot sounder than a lot of the MPs in here. You could get rid of 80% of the people in here and you wouldn't be missed. Wouldn't be missed. Absolutely shockingly bad. So, yeah, that's it. David Coulter, the Silver Fox YouTuber, and Craig Houston, YouTuber, that we've talked to on a couple of occasions now on the channel when he's out speaking to the public. Both sound, talk a lot of sense, are standing for the Social Democrat Party in the Scottish elections. So we'll get them on, analyse what they're saying, get other leaders on, get the leaders of Reform and even Labour, even far left organisations are more than welcome. The leaders are more than welcome to come on and actually speak on this. We're a libertarian channel, so we're firm in their freedom of speech, so everybody has a chance to speak on this channel. My baby Gorillas, that's podcast 2. That's me done about an hour. I was going to talk a wee bit about what happened down at the conference. Give me 2 minutes. I may actually just do that somewhere in the studio. Right, guys, I'm out.